In recent times, I have recognized that game journalism has been in somewhat of a stalemate, and what I mean by that stalemate is that these reviews follow a very rigid structure and formula that gets repeated a lot, which ultimately leads to a little bit of a hollow experience in my eyes. This is hardly at fault towards the people writing them, however. Now, you see, the game journalist companies that are contracted to review new releases, they have very strict deadlines that they must reach in order to maximize the views and revenue that the review receives, such as meeting the embargo that they're allowed to publish the review on. The earlier that they publish the review, the more ad revenue and recognition that review gets. So as a result, it kind of leads to a hastily put together review, basically only scratching the surface of what the game has to offer, and oftentimes with very few analytical points. So that's why I like to consider these reviews basically bottom of the barrel content, existing only to make a few quick bucks out of a recently released game. While on a voice call one time, my friend Luca once said,
"A game journalist starts a sentence and you can almost always recognize how that sentence is going to end."
And I find this commentary on game journalism as a whole to be hilarious, quite frankly. And now, I always think about it whenever I see a game review from a major gaming corporation. He isn't lying. You can totally predict how each sentence is going to end in a typical game review. So recently I was thinking if I could extrapolate on such a comment by applying it to a whole entire review of a game. I spent so much time in my life getting acquainted with this type of video, I genuinely pondered if I could actually write like a game journalist, because truthfully, I don't think it would be that hard. In many instances, their cadence of speech is similar, sentence structure is consistent from sentence to sentence, and there are so many buzzwords that reviews tend to use a lot, which, by the way, my buddy Luca, Will, and I have started up a document of commonly used game journalism phrases, which I'll be using throughout this review. And it kind of begs the question, how hard is it to write a review like a game journalist? Welcome to WLAGJ, Write Like a Game Journalist, a series where I attempt to write the most generic review of a game possible and cross-reference it to different views from major game journalist corporations. After that, a meticulous statistical analysis will be conducted, and if I score 51% or higher on the almighty content similarity scale, I will indeed be capable of writing like a game journalist for this video game. However, if I shamefully score a 49% or less on the content similarity scale, I'll be fired from my job and be forced to work somewhere else. Since I'm normally a perfectionist when it comes to writing content, and considering that these reviews are meant to simulate real-world environments of one of these game journalist companies, writing these scripts I will give myself only 2 hours to write the most generic and game journalist-esque review I possibly can. And the time begins now. Let's spin dash right into this review. For the first episode of WLAGJ, I'll be writing on Sonic Mania. Throughout the past decade, Sonic has had a rough time finding his foothold in the video gaming realm. Many mediocre Sonic games have been coming out without much of a leg to stand on. Many consider the years 2006 to 2009 to be the dark ages of Sonic, starting back in 2006 with the aptly named Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and ending with Sonic and the Black Knight in 2009. This all changed in 2010 when Sonic Colors came out, which seemingly changed people's perspectives and opinions on the franchise. Unfortunately, this revival era of the franchise ended in 2013 with Sonic Lost World, to be further solidified with Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric in 2014. These games are not good. So how is it that 3 years later the best Sonic game ever made comes out? It's all thanks to the man by the name of Christian Whitehead, who has previously worked on some of the most stable and enjoyable ports of Sonic CD, numerous different Sonic ROM hacks, and the Sonic 1, 2, and 3 mobile games on iOS. Sega thought it would be a good idea to bring Whitehead along for a new project that would be developed in-house, and the result is what we see before us today. So is Sonic Mania just another garbage Sonic game that belongs to the garbage like all other garbage and trash Sonic games in recent memory? Or is it a holy godsend of a romp that only gods as godly as Christian Whitehead could possibly consider mustering? It's time to drop dash into this video review. Sonic Mania definitely looks the part. With a fully animated and colorful nostalgic art design, it has been updated to look absolutely stellar on modern hardware. Couple that with the fact that there are 4 new zones to feast your eyes on, in terms of visuals, the game is stunning. That's not to undermine the sound design, however. Boasting a completely reimagined soundtrack from Pagoda West Games' T. Lopes and new sprite animations to match each new character, it's simply a joy to see all of Sonic Mania's presentational styles unfold as you play the game around you. Sonic has gone back to his roots with a physics engine that is translated almost one-to-one from nostalgic Genesis installments. After many failed attempts from Sega trying to make the classic Sonic formula work again, it is honestly a breath of fresh air seeing the gameplay style back in full force. The time-tested formula of going fast on a 2D plane is further solidified with the new drop dash mechanic. If you press and hold the A button while airborne, Sonic picks up speed and dashes forward as if you entered a spin dash. This simple yet subtle addition to the core gameplay of Sonic Mania makes building momentum easier and more satisfying than ever before, while still maintaining all of the ideals that made the gameplay fun in the first place. Good gameplay is always in style. Throughout the 12 zones of the game, you will come face to face with some of the most iconic sceneries that you see from the franchise's history, but also 4 newly created zones specifically for this game. Taking inspiration from the classic Genesis title Sonic 3 and Knuckles, there's a save select screen that keeps a record of all your playthroughs while giving you the option to select all the different characters from said game. While Sonic is still undoubtedly king when it comes to blasting through the stages at the speed of sound, Tails is the best bet for reaching further heights that you could never reach before, and Knuckles is able to climb walls with ease. Even though each of these characters have the same general template, they all feel genuinely distinct from one another, resulting in the most varied gameplay experience the series has had since Sonic Adventure. Pair that with level designs that are tailor-made for multi-character exploration, the 4-hour initial campaign can be easily expanded with replays, using the different abilities of each of the game's main cast. Sonic Mania is an extremely fun romp, and even though there has not been many things done to improve the creative reaches of the franchise, it is a shining example of the age-old idiom, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This carefully constructed game by the Mania, for the Mania, is not only a great addition to the franchise, but is honestly the best Sonic game ever conceived. Sonic Mania gets an 8 out of 10. Alright, that was honestly a bit harder to write than I would have thought. I guess the hope is here that the more I keep on going with this series, the more experience I get when it comes to writing reviews and all the things that go inside of it. But here's the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to bust out the reviews for Sonic Mania and see how similar my review really was in comparison to theirs. Throughout the past decade, Sonic has had a rough time finding his foothold in the video gaming realm. Many mediocre Sonic games have been coming out without much of a leg to stand on. Many consider the years 2006 to 2009 to be the dark ages of Sonic, starting back in 2006 with the aptly named Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and the ending with Sonic and the Black Knight in 2009.
For years, the Sonic series has chased the legacy of its early games, repeatedly delivering experiences that either came close or failed to recapture the spirit that made them classics. Sonic Mania methodically uses its sentimental appeal to great effect.
This all changed in 2010 when Sonic Colors came out, which seemingly changed people's perspectives and opinions on the franchise. Unfortunately, this revival era of the franchise ended in 2013 with Sonic Lost World, to be further solidified with Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric in 2014. These games are not good.
Sega's had a nightmarish time trying to rekindle the magic and majesty of its iconic mascot since the Blue Hedgehog's peak in the 90s. After the Genesis console faded, Sega went an entire hardware generation without a proper flagship Sonic release on the Saturn. With a jump to 3D in 1999's Sonic Adventure, the series retained its flash, but something was fundamentally broken in the translation. While some fans defend the Sonic oeuvre from the Dreamcast onward, the series' best days were behind it, reaching its absolute nadir with 2006's disastrous Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic Mania definitely looks the part. With a fully animated and colorful nostalgic art design, it has been updated to look absolutely stellar on modern hardware.
From the opening's title splash screen, Sonic Mania's presentation is intoxicating. Its colorful retro 2D graphics and vibrant 90s-inspired pop soundtrack is enough to make any Sega Genesis fan squeal in excitement.
That's not to undermine the sound design, however. Boasting a completely reimagined soundtrack from Pagoda West Games' T. Lopes and new sprite animations to match each new character, it's simply a joy to see all of Sonic Mania's presentational styles unfold as you play the game around you.
Sonic Mania makes a strong first impression thanks to amazing visuals and music. Its presentation replicates the charming aesthetic of Sonic's earliest games with thorough detail.
The time-tested formula of going fast on a 2D plane is further solidified with the new drop dash mechanic. If you press and hold the A button while airborne, Sonic picks up speed and dashes forward as if you entered a spin dash. This simple yet subtle addition to the core gameplay of Sonic Mania makes building momentum easier and more satisfying than ever before, while still maintaining all of the ideals that made the gameplay fun in the first place.
Sonic has a new drop dash, which allows him to quickly roll forward after a jump. It's a small addition, but it provides a handy new way to pick up speed or avoid incoming danger.
Good gameplay is always in style.
It's proof that no matter how much time passes, great gameplay is always in style.
Even though each of these characters have the same general template, they all feel genuinely distinct from one another, resulting in the most varied gameplay experience the series has had since Sonic Adventure.
You have the option to play as Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. From the get-go, the movement, physics, and overall feel of each character are distinct yet familiar.
This carefully constructed game by the Mania for the Mania is not only a great addition to the franchise, but is honestly the best Sonic game ever conceived.
An excellent 2D platformer, Sonic Mania goes beyond expectations, managing to not only be a proper evolution of the series' iconic formula, but the best Sonic game ever made.
Now that we have the comparisons, let's see what I scored on the content similarity scale. And there we have it. I scored a 51%. And that's basically a wrap for this video. First of all, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my friend NitroSSB for editing the video that you see before you today. Without him, you would not be seeing anything on the screen, and you just hear an idiot talking to the screen, pretending to be a game journalist, and I'm sure that you didn't want to see that experience. So huge thanks to him. You can see in the sidebar right now his Twitter. Go ahead and send him some love, and if you came from this video, tell him that I sent you. Alongside that, if you liked the video, please give it a like and comment below. Because I am I'm returning to YouTube rather, it would be nice to know who's still watching my stuff, and I would not know if anyone's still watching and enjoying my stuff if it wouldn't be for the comments. That being said, this is going to be an ongoing series, so if you see any game suggestions that you would like to shoot my way in trying to write like a game journalist, I would definitely like to take them, and I'll try to be doing them for more recent releases as well in order to maintain that relevancy, if you know what I'm saying. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.